a moment and a salute before we even get underway with this episode review for our beloved head captain, captain commander of the Gotei 13, Genyusai Yamamoto. Head captain for over 1,000 years for the Soul Society. That was a goddamn great send-off. I'm just gonna say it right now. Like that was a fantastic episode. That episode was everything we could hope it would be. All right. This is Griever, episode 6 review for Bleach. Okay, so there's a couple of small things I want to cover right away. And the first thing is the little additions. Just the little additions, like the animation, that was how literal fire. Both figuratively and literally, that was fire. That was fire in its best form. I don't know how you could have made that fight better. I don't know how you could argue its animation quality. That was... It's flawless. There is nothing... There is not a flaw in what went down. You know, it was just... It was a beautiful representation. They added the few little things here and there to extend the fight, to make the whole episode the fight. Right? They made the whole episode the fight with a couple of little things that I want to talk about. Number one is the little addition of him blitzing Yuha Bach. And yes, I'm going to use Yuha Bach because long back in the day, the spelling of Yuha Bach was literally Yuha Bach. And it was 2 words. And in Japanese, that's how they pronounce Yuha's name, is Yuha Bach. You know, so I'm just so used to it because I was reading Bleach well before there were certain proper translations, as it were. So, yeah, that's always going to stick. But one of the things I loved was early on in the episode where he blitzes him to grab Kenpachi out of his hole. I don't believe in the manga now. I reread this last week. I reread the fight and stuff like that. So I might be missing that panel where he blitzes him, takes him, because remember, Yuha is holding Kenpachi Zaraki of all people. We don't get to see that fight. We don't know how that went down. Which begs the question, because a lot of people are disappointed. I'm going to go off on too many tangents here, but let's remind ourselves of this one. How Kenpachi lost so easily, knowing what we know now. All right. So I love the new addition. Let's keep with the additions. He blitzes him and lays Kenpachi Zaraki down like, no. Get your hands off one of my fucking children, one of my captains. Fuck off, right? And then, of course, we get the other little additions of the fight. The fight extended where they little blitz each other for a little bit, that kind of idea, which I like because initially in the manga, it seems like, listen, Yamamoto, why aren't you at least attempting the Shikai first? We know for a fact that they can steal Bankais, and we know that Bankais are in danger. Your level of power is just fucking blitzing these Sternritter assholes. So, you know, why wouldn't you at least attempt? Now, granted, it's like, no, don't give Yuha a chance, fucking just go all out. That is one regard to do this, but another regard is sort of like, at least attempt to sort of kill him with your Shikai before there's an opportunity. And this fight extends it enough that he got a couple hits in. He didn't just straight boom Bankai, right? So I actually like that addition, and of course we get to see more of the fight. The fight is extended in these little pieces. And the other thing is the Uryu stuff. I love that we're focusing on Uryu every couple of episodes at brand new scenes. We're building up Uryu as a character and his feelings towards being the heir, the last Quincy, as he believed himself to be, but being the last Quincy, being of a race that was persecuted and hated for... And once again, they have good cause. If you really want to talk about this, you know, maybe I should make a separate video. But in general, the Soul Reapers are in the right and the Quincy's are in the wrong. That's just a fact. I'm not forgiving what Mayuri did, because a lot of people love Mayuri, but what he did to Soken is unforfucking-givable, okay? That kind old man was a boss, and that's... Like, Mayuri, kills his own comrades, all this shit. Like, Mayuri is evil, alright? Let's not kid ourselves. Not all Soul Reapers are made equal, and this goddamn asshole might be, like, wacky and might be interesting, and people love him, but don't pretend that he's a good guy. Ever. Never pretend that, okay? Not even in a joking fashion. Like, he's not redeemable. He's not, like, Mr. Two, from One Piece or anything like that. No. Not Mayuri. Go reread Soul Society and try again. So, as a result of me saying that, that's what I'm talking about. Uryu has these additional scenes that we do need. We need to see his conflict because he doesn't believe in the Soul Reapers. He doesn't think they're worth anything. He thinks, the Quincy's are the ones in the wrong when you talk about the balance in the world, right? And they aren't wrong. Like, by the Quincy's, if the Quincy's are allowed to have unchecked power and reign free, the human world, we're fucked. The human world's fucked. Wakamundo's fucked. Soul Society's fucked. But it's like, okay, you could argue, yeah, but if we destroy Wakamundo, there goes the Hollows. It's like, great. What happens to the human world, though? That's an important world, So there's the big thing. And though I still, even knowing that, like Soken tried to say, like, we can assist. We can make sure that the balance of souls is okay. We can have restrictions, but why don't we have a conversation? Why don't we hit the negotiating table? Of course, the Soul Reapers were never really willing to listen, and that's on the Soul Reapers. But at the end of the day, it's very good of us to be getting these extra little scenes that I feel like Kubo wanted to include but didn't have the opportunity to, or didn't have it fleshed out enough in his mind. Of course, he was sick during the last going off of writing the manga. So, I really enjoy that we're seeing Uryu's confliction, but also, we never got any of this. We never got any of this in the manga. It was, boom, last time we saw him, he was chilling with the gang, and then, boom, what happens, right? So, yeah. That's something that I'm just really sitting back here going, all these little scenes of him figuring out the history and figuring out what's going on, I like it. It adds depth, and it's probably going to add better foreshadowing and better acceptance to this arc as a whole if it goes in the direction that we're all hoping and we think is going to happen by the end of the season, or by the end of the series. So yeah, that's absolutely excellent. So I think we went through all the major additions. Those are the major additions. Oh, and we did get a proper conversation between Sosuke motherfucking Aizen, Chair-sama himself, and Yuha Bach. And Aizen basically goes, yeah, okay. That's basically Aizen. Aizen's like, yeah, no. Why don't you hightail it out of here? We're good. Now, it is going to be cool next episode when it's like, yeah, Aizen's still fucking with apparently the god of everything, the Jesus of everything, and he's just like, nah, my power's still, I'm still fucking with you. So that's going to be a great scene. But, so that's all the additional stuff, right? That's all the additional stuff that I wanted to talk about. And I already talked about the animation. The animation, fire, literal fire. It's amazing. It was awesome. This fight was so good. It was hype in the manga. We were waiting for it. It's, like, I don't know what people wanted more. Some people probably complain. You know what people complain about? Because everything looked absolutely incredible, in my opinion. Something no Tanchi East looked fucking on point. But people complain about the CGI skeletons. I don't give a fuck if you don't like CGI skeletons. I just don't care. If you actually cared that much, how can you ignore 23 minutes of fucking fire, literal fire animation? I'm going to keep saying that. Literal fire animation. One of the hypest fights in the series, and one of the best shonen mangas of all time, and complain about some background CGI skeletons. Really? So I'm not even entertaining that argument. Anybody wants to say that in the comments? Yeah, I'll give you a like, a heart, and be like, meh. I don't do emojis, but I feel like this deserves the shrug emoji. I literally give zero fucks. So yeah, it was still amazing. I don't care whether you didn't like the CGI skeletons or not. They did not seem out of place. They seemed fine. So any complaints people I can foresee might have would, of course, be that. Because that's what people in the first episode complained about the CGI hollows. I had to be told they were CGI hollows, for Christ's sake. Maybe I'm getting old. Maybe my eyes aren't trained to see it. But I remember growing up with first generation CGI. So I think y'all need to take a step back and appreciate how far we've come with it rather than bitching about it. That's just me. And then, okay, so as we know, this fight went off fire. It followed the manga, but also did a lot of like additional little things and stuff. We get to see the extension of, and a little bit of the back. I love how they keep flashing in between when Yamamoto defeated Yuha, and apparently the entire Vandenreich defeated them 1,000 years ago when he was in his prime, so to speak, right? He like defeated them with no problems by the looks of it. He even said he didn't even have to show off all his power because he killed them beforehand, and clearly apparently failed to kill Yuha in that way, but we don't really know how that works. Like, does the prophecy, is it one of those things like, no matter what, like Darksiders, the riders shall be four, so even if war dies, if the seven seals are broken, they're revived, no matter if they've been eradicated, erased, destroyed, doesn't matter, they have to come back because that's just a law of the world, a law of the cosmos, you know what I mean? So whoever stated this prophecy and stuff, by the looks of it, Yamamoto did destroy him and beat him, but for some reason, I guess the prophecy is up here. I don't really know. I never read Can't Fear Your Own World and stuff. Shit seemed a little too whack to me. So, but yeah, so I love the interchanging between that, getting to see those little shots of how badass he was, using some of the same techniques, destroying him just like he's doing right here. And then we get the big drop. That he's like, yeah, you can't steal my Bankai because you can't. The way his theory is that you can steal Bankais because you understand them, their structure, and how their powers work. But you have no idea how my power works. I keep adding to this bitch. The Bankai you saw 1,000 years ago is not the Bankai. I didn't even use my full Bankai 1,000 years ago. And I've perfected it and added things or changed things from 1,000 years ago. My Bankai is not what you remember, so you can't steal what you can't understand. Like the theory, it was a little bold of him to use the most powerful Bankai in existence to take that gamble, but is what it is. That's Yamamoto, full of that goddamn head captain pride, right? So, absolutely love everything about this episode in that regard. The one last thing I want to say, though. The way the episode ended, by the way. Fantastic. I love that I thought that they blitzed through this a little bit too fast. They spent a whole episode on it. We couldn't ask for more. Couldn't ask for better and couldn't ask for more. The one thing I will say, and this is more of my own headcanon, a little more of my own theory, or my own comparison. You don't need to agree or disagree or what have you with this, but it's just something I thought of that was kind of funny. Have you ever met those power scalers? Those people, you know, like I'm asked to power scale in streams all the time, and I give my 2 cents and stuff. But I'm not a power scaler. I generally don't make power scaling videos, right? So I'm not a power scaler. But there are those, and some of them are out to lunch, and some of them are in an opposite camp. It's about as bad as politics in the United States, right? So there's a lot of camps when it comes to power scaling, and usually they're, you know, way this way and way that way. The thing is, what Yuha Bach has done with the whole stealing of the Bankais literally reminds me, because the whole reason I would be curious to honestly see at this stage, and I'm sure this has been brought up on Reddit and other forums and stuff like that, what would have happened had the real Yuha at the end of the episode had to fight Yamamoto using his full Bankai. Couldn't steal it. Let's just say that Yamamoto was right and he could not steal it. And he doesn't do the switcheroo with Lloyd, whatever. He literally had to fight him just like he did 1v1 with full Bankai. I am a little curious to how you think, and I'm not talking end of series, I'm talking the current Yuha Bach that we know right now fights Yamamoto. How do you think that fight goes? Do you think it's still You know, because I have this theory. As I said, the reason I brought up the power scalers was because what this reminds me of, what Yuha's whole concept of stealing Bankais reminds me of, is people that put, especially cross-universe. Cross-universe is the biggest thing, okay? When you do cross-universe power scaling, one of the most toxic things in the anime manga community. And then people's argument for Naruto would beat Luffy, Ichigo would beat Naruto, Goku would beat A, B, C, whatever, is, I love this one. Take away the Sage's Six Paths mode from Naruto. And then have your crossover. So nerf him. Take away Gear 5th from Luffy. So nerf him. Take away... What you mean is nerf. You're nerfing the characters because you're not confident that straight up your argument is only valid if we end up taking away or nerfing a character so that either your favorite character or what have you can win. That toxic power scaling shit, right? And Yuha, in a weird way, I don't know if it's just me, and I just want to... This is more of a lull thing because the review's done. I just want to know if you guys sort of feel the same way, that Yuha Bach was literally like one of those toxic power skaters. Like, yeah, I mean, I've got like 30 of these guys, and they're pretty fucking strong. Some of them are just straight up broken. However, and I am too. I'm getting there. It's only the beginning of the arc. But some of these Bankais, man, you know what? Just to make sure... I'm not leaving anything to chance. I'm going to make sure we get rid of the Bankais because I'm totally confident that we will win no matter what. Of course, 100%, and we will win. But maybe just as a little insurance, I'm going to take away that Bankai just so there's no debate. You know, I'm going to take away Zoro's 3 swords to versus Shiryu of the Rain. You know, I'm going to take away... I'm going to take away Goku's Super Saiyan forms, and then have fight Saitama, which at this point he'd probably still be Saitama. Anyway, maybe a bad example. I'm going to take away Saitama's parody shit, or something like that. I'm going to take away end of arc Naruto, end of arc Toriko to fight against ABC character, XYZ character, right? That's what stealing the Bankai sort of feels like to me. That Yuha Bach is sort of like a sore loser or sore winner, however you want to look at it. And he's just like, oh, 110%. We win. Cross universe, we win. We win this debate, no matter what. But I just want to make sure... I'm not saying that we would lose because Bankai. But I'm not willing to take the risk. Like, he's sort of, like, admitting that Bankai scare him. Like, in this regard, I honestly think, this is my closing thought, I think he was kind of scared, especially at this stage, that maybe he would lose to Yamamoto... Bankai at this point in the story. He lost 1,000 years ago. There's no reason for me to believe that he's weaker or stronger than 1,000 years ago at this stage. We're not talking about end stage. So, was he scared of Yamamoto's Bankai or the Bankais in general? I think that was brought up by somebody's theory that they fear the Bankais, and that's why they sealed and stole the Bankais as a result. And I feel like that is the basis. The whole basis for this is Yuha Bach's fear of Bankai. And maybe specifically Yamamoto's Bankai, because he doesn't think he'd be able to defeat it before what happens later in the story. So, or Yamamoto would come for his fucking head and he wouldn't be ready, right? So, let me know what you guys think about that. That was just my thought. But it was something that I had recently saw a very toxic debate cross-universe, and people were taking away like, oh, you know, if you take away Super Saiyan God from Goku, can these characters beat him? It's like, what is the point in saying that? It's like saying if you cut off both my arms, can I still beat up X person in a fist fight? Well, you took away my arms. I mean, that's sort of an unfair handicap, don't you think? You know, it's like, it's part of my character. It's part of my abilities. I was born with 2 fists and know how to use them. So, I don't know. It's kind of funny in my regard. But anyways, that's just my closing thoughts, because I'm really tired, guys. I had to work a really late shift, so that's why this review is so late. But I just watched the episode, and I just had a blast with it. I thought it was absolutely incredible. And anyway, so a few errant tangent thoughts, but also I thought a fun review. So like, comment, and subscribe as always, everybody. Don't forget to drink responsibly, as I always do. We'll see you guys back here for the next episode of Bleach, 1,000-Year Blood War Arc. Episode number 7 is about to be, well, I think the fires have been doused, but still going to be pretty awesome. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.